When Wodika takes back her throne, all transgressions and injustices will come to light.
Godlike. Interested in saving a couple of lives?
Hey, so close. But what's the point? It's...
Step right up. I can tell you need more fire in your life. Or maybe more essence. Please buy something. I'm trying to prove a point.
You there. You look like you know your way around... hello. I heard what happened. I see why you'd want to protect yourself.
Well, no one's come to claim him. I suppose I should see.
Envoy. On the contrary, Paradis believes it can help you.
Careful, he could be a messenger. Or this could get interesting.
We wait in places you will never think to look. Your mercy for our compatriots has not gone unnoticed. Take this. We deem you worthy. This time, we trust you will remember our gratitude.
Look, Marius, if you ever want... Not everyone warrants an assassination attempt, you know. You should be flattered. What I find interesting is how you handled him. Decisively, I might add. It's too bad. Now that the Steel Garrote has made an example of him, others will think twice before trusting Adirran mercy. If that's your way of trying to bring justice to the frontier, you and your people have an uphill battle ahead. To Ambassador Hilgard's credit, this is about the tamest Paradis has ever been. In days past, your murder would have barely made the town crier's announcements. Now, open bloodshed is relatively rare, in most corners of the city anyway. To some, others, like Eagwolf, see the firm hand of authority closing around their necks. And Ludwig and the Steel Garrote are only making matters worse. They're a match to a powder keg. Your ambassador and the rest of the Adirran forces have been dragging the frontier, kicking and screaming towards order and civilization. All the things that half of us moved here to escape. Then, one day, Ludwig and the Steel Garrote show up to reinforce the Adirran presence, and they're as harsh as Woedica herself. Could be both. Judging from that meeting, Ambassador Hilgard and Ludwig don't see eye to eye. I'm afraid that means trouble on the horizon, especially if Ludwig starts operating around him. Like it or not, their differences could make trouble for you, especially since the Steel Garrote is here under Adir's flag. And I worry about what that means for the rest of us. Just thinking about Claviger Amon. I let him down. I've let a few people down over the years. But I did promise someone once that I'd do my part to look after all of us riffraff who've made a home here. My best chance of doing that is helping you investigate this plague and keep a lid on tensions. And, hopefully, fend off any future assassination attempts. The feeling's mutual. It's nice to share a campfire again. I think that's enough doom and gloom for one night, don't you? Sleep easy, Envoy. As best you can. Enjoy the ocean breeze while we're here.
Fior Messiverno, huh? Guess if you're looking for an animancer, that's the place to go. Take everything you know about forests and make it 100 times more aggressive. I've led a few people there from Paradis or Thirdborn, and I've almost lost someone on every trip.
Someone's slipping.
I said, almost. Just glad I can help. Right, changing the subject. Right, what do you want to know? Heard an envoy from Adir showed up and got herself killed. Other than that, nothing. Honestly, I don't listen out for gossip much. I don't know what to tell you. Lovely place, as the Living Lands goes. I advise most people to stay around here if they're looking to settle. Paradis isn't the safest place in the world, but it is the safest place in the lands. Walls and guards go a long way out here. Other than that, you've got bits of forest, grasslands, some caves, cliffs, and all sorts of things to get you into trouble. This is the easiest place to survive in the Living Lands. Enjoy it while it lasts. Let's see. Normally you look for some shelter first. Cut down a few small trees, gather moss to keep the wind out. Nothing too elaborate. With so little tree cover, you want to keep moving. The reeds near the coast make great fibers for rope, so you can lash branches together and make a decent roof. Of course, we're always moving, so we just make a quick camp and carry on. So you don't have to worry about all that. Right. Good talk.
Haze, mirrors, we have touched something like your dreams before. Our roots entwine, but we cannot linger here long. We must know. A killer freed, a predator returned to the woods. You bled and forgave. Why? Should he not suffer for your pain? Compassion for the snake. He killed our beloved. Our weeds tangled. This is not our way. A dam broke. We wept in the dark when your soul slipped away. We feared for you, felt your agony. We could not forgive. Petals disperse on the wind. Wake now. We have tending to do.
Hold a moment. They tell me you're going to Emerald Stair. Business or pleasure? Well, just remember to cover your mouth, sneeze into your elbow, and sleep with lavender under your pillow. Fair warning, Envoy. Before you showed up, Inquisitor Ludwine barged past me. She was looking none too pleased. Yikes. Whatever happened between you two, I'm glad you made it out alive. Anyway, I thought you should know Ludwine's on the prowl. Tread lightly.
As long as she's not on our scent. Given how angry she was about Eagwolf, probably best we give her a wide berth.
Oh, one other thing. A desperate young man at your embassy asked me to deliver this to you. Apparently his expedition team has run into some trouble in the caves north of the city. I reckon he was a little starstruck by the whole idea, and no one else could spare the time. Oh, and I wouldn't wait too long. Those caves have been unstable the last few days. Roots and earthquakes and the like. Take care out there, Envoy. You're cleared to pass, Envoy.
And Sam sad to be leaving Paradise. I had no idea how tense things were with the Adirans moving in. And now we have to worry about whether the man who killed you is going to try again.
It's what most of us come here for. I only wish more of us really got one. Unfortunately, the Steel Garrote will see this as an excuse to crack down. I get the feeling they've been looking for one.
Steel Garrote? I figured they're just more intense Adiran soldiers.
They'll have their work cut out for them here. About half the people who come to the Living Lands are fugitives or exiles from something.
I don't like that Ludwig woman. She gives me the freakus.
Yeah, I've seen floggings gentler than the scolding she gave Hilgard. One's tacking when the other's jibing, if you catch my drift. Taking in the slack is one thing. They look ready to strangle each other with it.
Then it's a good thing we're getting out of the city.
Yeah. Much as Liviana misses our company, I wouldn't count on your mysterious friend reviving you a second time.
Are you listening to that friend when you go all blank-eyed from time to time? Does your special friend talk to you? I mean, I had an imaginary friend when I was little, but they never brought me back from the dead.
He means that with all due professional respect, of course.
How do you know this friend doesn't mean us any harm? Unless they have their own use for you. That's what's giving me the shakes.
We're headed to Fior Messi Verno to see if the Animancers know anything about the Dream Scourge, right? Maybe we'll learn something about your condition in the process.
Right. When it comes time to deal with Animancers, you two are on your own.
Most fun things are.
They could stand around and have scholarly debates about souls all they want. Gives me a great opportunity to take a nap.
I haven't been back in a while, but Fior is, an interesting place. It was founded about 50 years ago by a disgraced Valian duke and a handful of animancers who'd soured on politics in the republics.
Town full of nobles, scholars, and leeches, all surviving off the work of the farmers who grow food for the whole island.
They're an eccentric bunch. You'll see. It turns out that academics are as ungovernable as the rest of us rabble.
They don't understand what they're messing with. They can't tame the wilds with machinery.
They've held it at bay, until recently. Their ingenuity, or madness, or heresy, take your pick, has fed a lot of people in the Living Lands. But, rumor has it, some unnatural blight is destroying their crops. We'll find out soon enough. And while we're in Emerald Stair, there's something I've been putting off. An old friend from my time in Thirdborn had a cabin out in the woods. Tama. He passed a while ago, but he left something for me that I never got around to picking up. But since we'll be in Emerald Stair anyway... You won't regret it. Emerald Stair's lovely this time of year. Even the Delimgon bloom.
No matter what I tell you, you keep picking flowers from things that want to kill you.
Hey, they love me. You just gotta ask nicely. Compliment their foliage.
Right. Maybe buy them a drink before they choke you to death with vines. Imagine a flooded area, but instead of water, it's all plants that just seem to want you lost, starving, and dead. Step on the wrong thorn or eat the wrong leaf, and you'll find yourself paralyzed or exploding out of both ends.
He's just trying to scare you. But he's also right. You and I have quite the adventure ahead of us, Envoy. That's the spirit. What about you, Marius? What's next?
I have, things to do back in Paradise. It keeps me plenty busy.
Come to think of it, I haven't been to Emerald Stair in a while, and the Envoy's never been. Know any good guides we could hire?
None that could help the two of you. You need the best guide in the lands to keep you from getting yourselves killed.
Yeah. Who else is going to show us which mushrooms we can eat, and which ones want to eat us?
Now that you mention it, you're gonna need my help if you're traveling through the lands with this Nimdude. I have 2 rules. No campfire songs, and no hugs. That last one's non-negotiable.
I hear wiggle room on the singing.
If we're done being ridiculous, we should get some rest. We'll be in Emerald Stair tomorrow.
Good to have you with us, Marius.
Right. Go to bed before you violate the hugging rule. Want to consider not washing your clothes in safflower oil.
Here we go.
Worth and run!
Nice shot.
Don't get too comfortable. More along the road.
Worth and run!
Oh, would you be here to help us escort him? Please.
Looks like she could use our help. Let's get her.
Worth and run! Worth and run! Be your sake!
Oh, fantastic. People. I was about to lose my wits.
A mind's question. The dust of the Akita in her hair. She knocks. We would answer.
You wouldn't happen to have a ladder on hand, would you? To climb, of course.
You're welcome to my shoulders.
There's a godless artifact just out of reach, and I must have it. But perhaps we don't need one. You're tall, striking, and well-toned. Well, I'm not surprised you don't know of the godless. But they were here in the living lands long before we were. Long before anyone else, as far as I can tell. Give or take a few thousand years. They lived on every corner of the lands. You must have passed a few of their ruins on the way here. The big ones, with spires that look more than a little phallic. A lot of their structures were embedded in the ground. They lived in harmony with the land. I mean, as much as you can live in harmony with the land actively trying to kill you. Maybe it was nicer back then. 30 years of research, and as far as I can tell, they just upped and disappeared one day. Fascinating, right? Well, what's important is that the vase is within my grasp, now that I've a tall, dark, and beautiful stranger to help. There's a vase in this ruin that's too high for me to reach. Fetch it for me. I can pay you in skates if you do. The vase sits atop that tower beside us, in the ruins there. And once you've got it, look me up. Yatsley, wizard extraordinaire, godless expert, and a Balrog in the bedroom.
You do meet the most interesting people.
I can get you 1,000 faces that don't require going into some ancient ruins. No one listens to me.
Quiet as the depths.
This way.
looking good. Let's see what you got.
Worth and run!
Time to rally.
If we're going to Fior, best to keep moving.
We make a good squad.
Andra's titties, you found it! I tried using magic to get the vase down, but alas. Thankfully you and your little friends came along and saved the day.
Excuse me. We're all bigger than you are, Nimdude.
I may be small, but my magic is not, I assure you. Ah, yes, I did, didn't I? But the cost is well worth it. Such a godless artifact is worth its weight in gold. Think of all the secrets and memories it holds. Well, I'm not surprised you don't know of the Godless. But they were here in the Living Lands long before we were. Long before anyone else, as far as I can tell. They lived on every corner of the lands. You must have passed a few of their ruins on the way. The big ones? With a lot of their structure. I mean... Of course. Follow the path through the fields. The settlement walls should appear through the fog. I'd best pack up myself. I have a vase to study. Thank you for your help, Godlike. Even if you didn't have a ladder.
Well, that's something I hope never happens again.
I've got a few inches to spare. Changes.
Darling, you are aware I can see you digging through my things, aren't you?
Next one's mine. Nice job, everyone.
Never seen Emerald stare like this. It's usually so nice.
Take good fighting. Aye, aye. Granted, I don't come here often, but when did it get this bad? More of this. Has anyone figured out how to get rid of it?
I think worth and wrong! Seek!
Over here!
Worth and wrong! Seek!
Take a moment, people. As if people weren't hungry enough.
Hand in hand, they toil, and the earth gives in return.
I don't
The
see what's the
smile
problem.
of the harvest.
If you can see it, take down.
You're the first godlike to come through in... well, I can't remember how long. I hope that's a good sign. I'll take what I can get. If the gods don't bless us with a harvest soon, this market will be empty come winter. You'd think so, but they don't approve of animancy. Something about undead farmhands makes them nervous. They still buy our crops, mind you, when the harvest's good.
What do you mean that's all you've got? Last week you said there'd be grain.
You know what I said?
You showed up at a bad time.
Yeah, I pretty much brought that plague bear down by myself.
Ah, the Emperor's envoy. Inquisitor Ludwig said you might be heading this way. Captain Alfair of the Steel Garrote. If you're here to speak with Vidaro, I'm afraid you'll find the governor is quite beyond reason. These Valians and their love of animancy. Good. Perhaps he will listen to you. I am not fashioned for statecraft. Still, I think the governor is too stubborn to be persuaded even by the Emperor's finest. When diplomacy fails, the Steel Garrote will be ready to ensure the safety of Adirian interests. Barter for peace, prepare for war. We all have our part to play, envoy. Until later.
She's as subtle as a broadside.
subtle means something different outside of Solace.
Can I... Welcome to Poria and Velino, the finest legitimate apothecary of Emerald Stair.
Come on. My invention.
Giata, what's the meaning of this?
How can you ignore what's right in front of you? The Dream Scourge is here, in the soil, and it's killing us. Oh my goodness. Are you a godlike? In that case, you're right on time.
Maybe you can talk some sense into our governor. Put the fear of the gods in him.
Tempers are high, but I don't see any assassins. Yet.
Excuse me, but unless you have official business, I'll thank you not to involve yourself in our private discussion. Very well. I hope you remember that behind these walls, your influence has limits.
I'm sure she didn't come all this way just to challenge your authority. As you can see, I was just proving a point to our esteemed governor.
A cart full of spoiled vegetables. You call that a point?
Ha! Emerald Stair used to be a lush garden for miles around, and now I don't even recognize it. First came the invasive species, roots and mycelium growing overnight, as though nature itself had gone mad. The Dream Scourge has twisted our lands, our wildlife, and now, our farms. Then there's no time to waste arguing with bureaucrats.
We definitely agree on that.
I believe that we can restore the land, bring back its soul and its sanity, cut off the Dream Scourge at the root. Our governor would rather ignore the problem. He doesn't trust animancy as his father did. Before we can deal with the Dream Scourge, we first need to understand it. Unfortunately, new experiments have to go through him.
Once again, bureaucracy stands in the way of getting things done.
I'm just trying to stop Chiata from hurting herself. Animancy is dangerous when you're shooting in the dark. Are you going to tell her about your family's basement? Or should I?
How dare you use that against me?
I know it was an accident, but look what it cost you. We can't let it happen again.
While we argue among ourselves, the Dream Scourge is tearing the living lands apart. Tearing our people apart. Really? Unexpected from an Adiran. But how could I refuse an offer like that? Well, Governor, looks like I'm taking some time away from my duties. I'll trouble you no more.
Your request is denied, Chiata.
I wasn't asking.
Your responsibilities are to the settlement. Turning away from them sets a precedent that I cannot allow.
Everything I have proposed has been for Fior, and you still refuse to cooperate. Under the circumstances, I don't have much of a choice.
Then neither do I. Giatta Castel, from this day forth, you are banished from Fior Messiverno.
Banished?
What?
Ignacy, we can't lose our brightest animancer in the middle of a crisis.
Your pupil has gone too far, Quilici. Take her and leave. You're still a guest in my town, but to us, Giata is an outcast. Then I trust you won't overstay your welcome.
Governor, this is unacceptable. Your father would have kept this community together at any cost.
Don't bother, old man. He isn't his father. I've done all I can for Fior Mesiverna. But you haven't even tried. Now limp back to your giant house like a good dog. We should talk somewhere private. Meet me at my house due west, by the workshop.
Another mouth to feed. Maybe we'll need to let Kai hunt more after all.